All right, everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and we've got a big update here today. There's some really good things for free to play in this, and there's some things that are, or I should say there's one thing that's just really bad. I think we all know what that is. We saw it coming, so you guys stay tuned. Let me know your thoughts down below. Like and subscribe, and of course, we've got to pay homage to my channel members. I really appreciate all of your guys' continued support, whether you're at the Wampa and Jedi Master tiers and those who are on the council, even if you aren't yet granted the rank of Master. Thank you so much for all of your continued support. Thank you for putting your faith in me to provide you guys with good quality Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes content. So let's get into today's video. We've got to talk about this update here. So I'm going to go to the forums and cover I'm trying to see why the heck my screen capture is not loading it, of course. Come on now, thing. I know you can do it. Come on. There we go. All right. So now you guys can see it. Let's move my fat face out of the way. All right. So we got a big update today. So IG-12 and Grogu available in Chromium packs. Fine. Sana Starros is accelerated. So that's good news. She's in the Cantina. So we've got more characters for Dr. Aphra who are accelerated. Paz Vizsla shards are now farmable on Lightside 4A. They replaced Teebo, which is moved to the Galactic Warshipment. Again, solid change here. Teebo going to the Galactic Warshipment isn't that big of a deal. Like, he's not a character that I would be rushing anyway. But they're at least moving him to a place where a lot more players can get him. But Paz Vizsla going to 4A is awesome. That's a 12 energy node, so a very easy place to farm him. It's great news for those of us who want to be chasing Bo-Katan Mandalore. Marauder shards are now available from Fleet Battle 3E. This replaces Sith Fighter Blueprints, which moves to Cantina 6C alongside Sith Assassin. This is fantastic news for a lot of free-to-play because you needed to farm that Sith Assassin node anyway, so now you're going to be able to earn those ship shards as well. The one caveat I will say here, the one thing I'm going to say about this is going to this location I think is better for players who needed Sith Assassin, but if you already have Sith Assassin, it's definitely going to suck a little bit. Like, it being in the fleet shipments, or the fleet nodes, in my opinion, was a little bit of an easier location from the standpoint that you could continue to focus on relic levels. So it is a longer period of time than it is in the Cantina. But I think the good news you can take out of it is a lot less time you're going to have to spend farming it, and allows you to utilize that fleet energy to farm some other things in the game. So overall, a positive change there. They also updated GAC and Squad Arena to use new environments. Okay, whatever, right? So, bug fixes. The last one here, guys, from the title card, you know it's coming. Fennec Shand fixed this to clarify that she can ignore taunt. Sith Trooper would complete hokey religions. All right, yep. Speeder Bike Pursuit corrected an issue where the commanders would occasionally reset the amount of sideswipe stacks on themselves in the raid on difficulties 5 and 6. Okay. Adjusted the ultimate journey description to make it easier to understand. All right, whatever. Rise of the Empire removed Ghost from Operations 4, replaced with Plo Koon Starfighter. That's a solid. Removed Fifth Brother from Operations in Phase 4, replaced with Tusken Chieftain. Again, that's a very solid change. I think that's a good one. Now, of course, they chose Tusken Chieftain, but I think a lot of those guilds at that top level should have Tusken Chieftain anyway. So we may, guilds may need to start focusing on him. Fixed an issue with Drogon's Datacron would not fully work unless he had his unique Zeta. That is very interesting. That is actually hilarious. Fixed an issue where Nisa's Datacron would revive non-Ewoks. I mean, that's problematic. Resolved an issue where Ben Solo could target enemies that were stealth during his turn. I mean, why'd we have to fix that? That was awesome. Fixed Dark Trooper Moff Gideon reviving when he has 4 stacks of insight and no allies. Okay. Final description of Scout Trooper's unique ability, Imperial Vanguard, is missing part of the text and has been added. All right, whatever. But then here we go. C3PO is no longer counted as a pacifist in the Speeder Bike Pursuit raid. I'm going to rant about this. I feel I can rant about this because why not? So I will rant, and then we will talk about I'd say the true overall impact as I try to adjust this here. All right. So we're going to talk about I can't fix my fat face. There we go. We're going to talk about the real overall impact of that. So let's go back into the game here. So for those of you who are not, playing the Speeder Bike raid yet, what you were able to do was just go into the Speeder Bike. And like I did this on my runs. you would just let C3PO escape battle constantly, right? He goes into battle, he escapes. And so I was able to score 9 million points by utilizing that, of just letting C3PO constantly escape the battle, boom, C3PO, used him in every single team. While this is not a bug, Capital Games needs to word this properly. This is not a bug. This is part of his kit. Part of his kit, when there's no other allies remaining, he escapes from battle. That's part of C3PO. So I understand that you don't like the way that it was not working as intended. This was not a bug. This was not something that was broken. You are changing the way that this character's kit works in this specific game mode because you don't like that players were able to score more points with him. So personally, I'm upset about this because obviously I'm majorly impacted by this, but so is the whole game. And to me, it's this constant, in my opinion, it's this constant thing they do where when they release something new and then there's existing stuff in the game that makes it easier to complete the new thing, they change it, right? They change the system, they change the rules. And I get it, you guys are the overlords, you get to do what you want, but I'm telling you that I don't like this change, particularly because whenever you change things like this, somehow it screws up everything else. So, all I'm saying is that, be prepared for Grand Arena tonight, that some weird things could be happening with C3PO, because whenever you change things like this, it almost always has consequences outside of that. Just think, what happens if, C3PO doesn't escape in any game mode anymore. I mean, not that it's, a big deal, but that could be a problem for some people, right? So, think about it like this, that maybe you go up against a team and you've got C3PO and, he's supposed to escape. He doesn't escape anymore. And then the enemy gets a revive in. I'd lose my mind. So, again, all I'm saying is that I'm not a fan that you're changing a game mode like this, because he could just escape from battle like he's supposed to do. And that has been active in so many different raids. So, yeah, I don't like it, guys. I think this is a really, really cheap shot in Galaxy of Heroes. I think that they really should have changed. I really think they should have just left it alone. And again, this all goes back to all these different things that they've fixed over the years, that this was not even this wasn't working as intended. This was just, hey, there's an exploit here that players are doing. Because there's one other thing. There are a lot of players who took this character to Relic 8 because of that reason. So I feel you need to refund those players as well. There are players who took C3PO to higher relic levels than they would have because they were able to use him multiple times, because why wouldn't you? That's part of his kit, is that he escapes. So with you changing this, I really think you should be refunding players. I don't know if you will. I doubt it, because you guys are, but you should, because it's not right. This is drastically changing a character's kit that was a big part of it, right? I understand you change things in the speeder bike raid, but this is a key part of C3PO, is that he escapes. So I very much am upset about this, especially as somebody who was really using this to score as many points as they could. And again, it's just kind of like a slap in the face to anybody who understands kits and understands strategy, that you change the strategy because you don't like the outcome, So yeah, it is what it is, but it sucks. So if we can all stay on C3PO and just have a quick moment of silence for him, because our king, in a king of that raid is the god no more. So if we can take a moment of silence for him. Thank you, my brother. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being a bright spot in this raid for a little bit. So that is a big change for guilds moving forward. My guild is definitely going to suffer from it. We might not be able to hit the 200 million box anymore, or we just need more players to step up. That right now, you think we've been able to really get there because a few of us were really exploiting this. So we're going to need everybody, guilds are going to need all hands on decks, that you can't be having guys like this not scoring points in the raid. Everybody's got to pitch in now. So definitely going to be a bit interesting. I'm not trying to put my guild on blast. I'm just trying to say that, guilds are really going to have to push for this, because I understand that you're like, well, what's the point of me participating in this raid when my guild is, not even halfway to achieving the next prize box? But you guys are going to see that now, that with this change, you're really going to have to pay attention. So very curious how that changes the landscape. Now, let's end some things on a positive note here. The Sith Assassin change, again, like I said, that's really, really good for the game. That's another step in the right direction, in my opinion, having this change. Again, putting those two things together, it's a net that is less time you're going to have to spend farming nodes, because you'd have to farm this node and you'd have to go farm the fleet node, whereas by the time you get Sith Assassin 330, you're halfway done with this ship. So still a ways to go, but better than you would be if you just farm this. Now you've got to go farm the fleet node. Moving the Marauder over there is a solid option for me. I think that's a great node for it. I think it's a great location. Again, as someone who has all the fleet nodes farmed, I really wish that like Paz Vizsla would have gone there instead of regular energy. But even him going to a 12 energy node, I'm all for it. I think that they've really tried to push the 12 energy nodes. I think their method for a while was throw everybody on a 20 energy node, and now they're kind of circling back to these older characters, taking them away from those early nodes and moving them to other locations so that way those early nodes can be for characters like this. So I am a big fan of that. I will give them credit there that, you know, if you don't remember back in the day, man, it was everybody was going on a 20 energy node, 20 energy node, 20 energy node. And it just got so draining because you think I'm farming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters, all of them on a 12 energy node. I'm spending 300 energy doing that. The 20 energy node characters, I could only farm 3 of them with that same amount of energy. So you're getting far more out of your energy by farming these lower energy nodes. And I think that's really, really important moving forward that they're doing this here. I really like it. So I hope that it kind of continues with that trend. You know, I'll be curious to see where IG-12 and Grogu and Keller and Beck end up going farmable, because that is definitely something we're going to need to keep an eye on. Depending where they go, things could really make Bo-Katan a very valuable character to have, or like a very quick farm. Or, you know, you think if they go to Cantina, something like that, you know, you could be really looking at a solid chance of getting an early Bo-Katan. So definitely have to wait and see how all of those things continue to work out. So, you know, overall for free to play, this is I'd say it's a, you know, update where nobody's happy, right? Capital Games is like, we have to, you know, or I shouldn't say nobody's happy, but this is kind of one of those updates where there's some good parts to it and there's some bad. I hope overall the raid, that it's still very easy for guilds with the right relic levels to be able to score 200 million. But C3PO was a big part of that. And if guilds need to start putting more relic levels on people, I mean, it's not the worst thing, but we are going to need to be pushing more. So, you know, my guild mates who are watching this, you guys got to step it in gear now. You can't be relying on people to score the points for you because they were willing to do the C3PO trick. So definitely something we're going to have to keep an eye out for. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below on it. Are you okay with this update? Are you not a fan of it? I mean, I can see all the sides of it, but I think overall, I'm still a little bit upset that it seems like, again, the classic CG of, we don't like that you're following the rules, but you're using them to your advantage. We don't want that, right? That's kind of the way I look at this, is that, you know, we're exploiting something that's in the game, right? This wasn't a bug. This wasn't that, C3PO was dealing 1 million damage on every single hit. It's just, no, he was escaping like he should. So, yeah. I'm trying to see where that was in here. Where is it in his kit that it says he escapes from battle? Come on. Where does it say that? Yeah, when there are no other allied combatants, C3PO escapes from battle. So, like, right there. That's what it says. So, you know, again, they're changing it in the raid only. We'll see what the other impacts of that are. But, yeah, guys, I mean, all that C3PO stuff aside, I'm glad that we're getting characters in the right farmable locations. I think putting the Marauder and Fleet on a Fleet node is great, because regular nodes are definitely getting very, very cramped with stuff. So overall, I'm happy. Let me know your thoughts down below. Like, subscribe, comment. I love all you. May the Force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.